Hello again, people. It's Karen with Ball of a Passion. It's been an interesting weekend, first weekend back in the Premier League season, and since we are back, we're going to talk about Arsenal and we're going to do our predictions for the season. I'm joined by everyone. We're also joined by Willow today, and I think we should just get straight into it, guys. So, it's been a tough weekend. Let's not lie, and the window is sort of coming close, and the overall end of this horrid window is going to come soon. And how do we think this window is going to end up? Are we all dropping our optimism and going full recovery mode, or are we still hoping for something to be pulled out?
No, I don't think that you drop everything. I don't think that you're going to get the extent of turnover that you wanted. I think it's really quite clear the outgoings have prevented the full scale of what you wanted. But I think in the end of wanting to have roughly 5 to 6 signings, I absolutely think that's going to be something that you will see by the end of the window. We've already got 3. So by the very minimum, I do expect an attacking midfielder and a goalkeeper. Um, and that would take us to that is 5 signings. So I do expect that, potentially another one. In terms of a center midfielder, I still have this feeling that we do attacking midfielder, goalkeeper, and a center mid. That's always been my plan, and I think that you compromise at the right back position, which is what I felt that was a priority. But in terms of what positions can you compromise, I always say compromise on the wings, don't compromise through the center. And I have a feeling Arteta would do similar if he can't get everything done. So I'm still very strange on what the attacking midfielder plan is. I'll be honest with you. I've never felt Odegaard. I get the similar feelings of a Buendia, of a Locatelli. He does not fit my tactical plan, but I must say, if it's a loan with an option to buy, that really leaves you flexible to do whatever you want in the market. That doesn't necessarily tie you down to a system. It doesn't give us a commitment. And so, from my aspect, you then just have another option for me on the bench, and that's something that I can't say no to. So, in terms of the overall transfer window, Curran, I'm chilling right now. I'm always chilling though. I don't think I freak out as much as most people.
True
Everyone's
Canadian.
really annoyed. I think what happened with Brentford has really opened the floodgates for what people wanted. Like half, I think the fan base wanted, and then other half are pretty upset with it and think that it was very uncharacteristic. But yeah, I still believe that we get 3 signings, 2 for sure, but 3 is my optimistic, you can call it, but pretty surefire bet that we do.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, Buendia, a bit of a 5.2 slow for school rating there for a little Buendia. Not a dig, but it is what it is. It's not the Premier League isn't made for everyone. Let's just put it that way.
It's the first game. It's the first game.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm
Yeah, I
kidding.
know.
But it
We'll
was
be
funny,
able
man.
to
He looked awful.
do
Like,
We'll probably do some. We'll probably do well, maybe decent in the Prem. But on the window, I think so far it's been okay. It hasn't been. It definitely hasn't been enough. Ben White, Lokonga, Tavares, and Willock, Mavropanos, Guendouzi gone, and Saliba on loan. It's definitely not enough for what we actually needed. I think we probably expected to get more out of the door by now with like Bella and Xhaka and stuff. We probably expected for them deals to be completed and really push on by now, but again, we seem to go into the season without having what we need, and then it costing us. I'm not saying it's responsible for the first game because the team that we had could have definitely won that, but for the rest of the window, I think we will get 2 midfielders and a goalkeeper. I'm not sure which they will be, but right now it looks most likely we're getting Odegaard, and I don't really want him, but if it's him in addition to someone else, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But Odegaard, for me, ideally, it would be Madison, Bissouma, and Onana, but I really don't think that's going to happen, seeing how strong these Odegaard links are. But yeah, I think so far it's maybe 5 out of 10 windows, 6 out of 10. But we really need them next 3-4 signings
Yeah, for
to
sure.
make it that 10 out of 10.
I mean, I said initially that it would look like a 7 out of 10 window because of the time we had left and the business we'd done early. But I tend to agree with you. It is a 6 out of 10 windows, maybe even a 5 out of 10 windows. Now the time is starting to progress. Need some signings done. I mean, we all need a Peng Tinkle Madison. It needs to happen. It needs to be done. So I really hope we can get it done. I really think something that needs to be done. It needs to be done. So I hope we can get it over the line. Another attacking midfielder and a goalkeeper would be class as well. Maybe even a right back. I mean, my stance is still. I would love to get Kamara in from France because the fact that he's only got 1 year left on his deal and he'd be so cheap. It's such a no-brainer deal. It feels like it's a silly move just leaving him on the table, but it is what it is. We have the priorities right now are an attacking midfielder and a goalkeeper for me, and then the right back as well. But right back needs a lot of transactions, and looks like we're not getting transactions done at this moment in time. So two midfielders, two attacking midfielders per se, and needing to get to jump in the Addison Lee. So we need to. I'll leave it to Z to see what he says about the rest of this window.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I was really happy with the way we started the window, and we brought in quite a few players in. But now I think how many days we have? Like less. I think just about 2 weeks left until the end of the window. I don't know. It's looking a bit scary. That's all I'll say. Just because I feel like we haven't done much in terms of the attacking sense, and also we haven't addressed the goalkeeping issues. And I'm done with Leno. I think I'm done. I do not want to see him start for Arsenal next week against Chelsea. I'd rather have Hein or Okonkwo starting. That's how much I'm done with Leno. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we will be at the end of the window. I just know we probably will get 2 or 3 more signings in, and that's it really. You can hear from my voice. I sound a bit drained from this whole negativity and everything on social media. But I think that's just a part of supporting Arsenal. So yeah.
At this moment in time, I still have faith it's gonna change. I don't think we're gonna just stay in this current nadir that we're in. No. But let's see where we go. So
no.
Willow, mate, talk to me, bro. What are you thinking? What's going on with this window?
It started, as we've all kind of covered, it started very well. I like all the profiles we brought in. We brought in young, really talented players that are for the future, but can also progress. So, you've got the kind of sell-on factor there, but they can also grow the squad and become key parts and key, components of the squad. But if I'm to rate it, I'm going to rate it more harshly at the moment because I don't think we've actually got the things that we need, like the crucial things that we need. I'm going to rate it about a 3 out of 10 at the moment. You still need to get that 10 in. You still need to get that goalkeeper in. And for me, you still need to get a DM in as well because I don't think I can do Granit Xhaka in a pivot for another year. I don't think my heart can take it. So I don't know. I am optimistic though. There's 15 days left, so I'm not going to be all gloom and doom with it. I think definitely we get a goalkeeper and definitely we get a 10. So that's 2 signings, and I'm hoping for more. I'm hoping for some surprises. But Arsenal are classic. They like to entertain at the end of the window and do big things. So let's hope they can do it again. And there should be money in the pot to actually make things happen.
Well, I think, look, I'm just going to interject really quickly. What's annoying me is I don't have an excuse for really the hierarchy at this point because, Z can correct me if I'm wrong on my basis, but we've got confirmed £40 million bids from Locatelli and others. So I know prior to sales, we had 40 million. And I really think even the most pessimistic fans on here can't deny that 40 million was available prior to sales. Now, once you have sold Joe Willock, that should take you to 65 million pounds in the most pessimistic of senses. And for me, like Willow, we've talked about this in previous streams and I'm just off screen, but Say you have 65 million, right? And you're telling me, look, George, I don't think spending it all on Madison is the play. I disagree, but I can maybe understand the logic if you go then and spread the wealth by buying your Awar and your Basuma, for example. Those are within the profiles. And in fact, Odegaard on loan, that doesn't factor in the budget for me because that is not an expenditure. And with an option to buy, there's no commitment that you must do it. So therefore, it doesn't take away from the budget. So if you're telling me that's the plan, then that's maybe a plan I can understand. That's a plan that I can get behind. I can start to see, okay, look, there's some clarity here in terms of what they're doing. Odegaard getting that secured first would impact the lesser financial deals. I get it. But I just think right now, without the context of this and without the context of who in addition to maybe an Odegaard, who in addition to these reported links, makes it very clear to understand the path necessarily. So I'm like you, Willow. I'm open, and I just don't have the excuse for me personally that we can't do something. Like I said, even in the most pessimistic of scenarios, if you're telling me you can't get your plan A target, which is massive money, cool. 65 million gets you Awar and Basuma. For me, both players that absolutely want to come to Arsenal, that's a fact. I'm not hearing that they don't want to come. They do want to come to Arsenal. And if you don't get that done, for me, then you have all the criticism that you're due. And it's not good enough because monetarily, it's there. There's no, for me, I think it's a different question if the money's not there and you're not doing it versus the money being there and you choosing not to do it. That's a bigger error, in my opinion. And again, it would really make me think what is happening at the top, because I don't think it's a case of us not having money. I really don't, because I've seen the bids, I've seen them confirmed, and then we sold Joe Willock for 25 million. So I don't get it personally, mate. I really don't. I even think you can extend 5 million to get Onana for 70, like all in that window. I'm just wondering, like, if we were to end the window, maybe, because I think we all don't know what's happening, to be fair, with the transfer window. I think everyone at this point is like, this sucks, but it could change. It's a fluid situation. But if I then presented with you the fact, okay, George and Willow and everybody, we're going to end the window with Awar, Basuma, Onana. That is your window. I don't know many fans that would say that's a failure of a window at that point. I don't know many fans that would say that's not feasible at this point. And so for me, that's a scenario that I can very much see. And if we don't do that as the minimum, for example, I'll be livid. And you don't even have to get Basuma. You can get Boubacar Kamara. We can make this even lower. For 40 million pounds, you get me Awar, Boubacar Kamara, Onana. You're telling me that doesn't improve this team?
But also, just to add to that as well, like, we should still be seeing player sales as well. There's no way that people like Eddie Nketiah and like Maitland-Niles don't get sold, and that's at least another 20 million in the pot just in them two.
That's what I'm saying, Willow.
That's minimum fees as well. Like, and that's just two players. Let alone also all the money we got off the books in other players that went in January and now as well. Kolasinac looks like he's probably going to be off. Willian as well. So it's a lot of money saved as well to be putting into the pot.
Yeah, and that's why I just cite the recent bids. So I go by minimum 40 million and probably 65 because you've got Willock. But even if you're telling me, George, let's even go more pessimistic and you only have 40 million pounds. This is what kills me, guys. That is literally Awar, Boubacar Kamara, and Onana. Are you telling me that's not possible? Those players don't want Arsenal? It's not feasible to do those deals? I can't buy it, mate. I really can't. So for me, it's very, very tough. And if they don't do it, though, they deserve the criticism. This is where I think I'm really getting at, because I'm getting frustrated. I'm somebody that felt that we would go in big. And I still think, even with our current situation, even in the most pessimistic of senses, you can turn this window around. You really, really can, in my view.
George, but how many deals did we say were going to be done at the end of the window? Even throughout the window, we've always maintained
5, 6. I believe we said always.
But I don't think I have. Well, personally, I never said that things were going to be done. We're going to be 100% by the first game of the season. I thought we're never a team that's ready with our signings at the first day of the season. I think we tend to draw out deals, and it tends to be a situation like this. And I'd hoped with with Garlic and Lewis that things might be a bit different, but apparently
apart
not. I
from
mean, the window.
PSG, again, this window is weird because apart from PSG, everybody who's really wanted to do something in the market is still doing stuff in the market. Like Chelsea's still trying to go for the centre back. United are still looking at a right back. And we're still looking at an attacking midfielder. So I wish we were a bit more proactive, but the market started a bit later than it usually started, in the sense that the catalyst for everybody to start really spending money was a bit later than normal. So I see why we're doing it late, but we really couldn't afford to start doing our business late when we were behind a lot of the other teams in general and couldn't afford to still be behind. I'll be very happy if from now on to the end of the window we do everything we need. I don't think we will, but I hope we do at least the bare minimum, which is signing at least one person in every third or at least 2/3 of the pitch.
Well, Chris, we had been talking even prior to the window where I have this thing where I always felt 11 transactions was the maximum that Arsenal has done as a precedent in any transfer window, forgetting COVID, feasibility, whatnot. I always felt you would get a maximum of 5. Personally, I wasn't so much on the 6, but maybe I could see it. Maybe they could surprise us. But then I felt you could only do no more than 11 transactions. And basically looking at the window, it seems even in our bare minimum situation, we're maxing that out and not beating it. So for me, I was very much on board with that because we have now got what? You've got Guendouzi, Mavropanos, and Joe Willock as our sales, right? So that's 3 outgoings. We've had 3 incomings. So now you're at 6. If you have another 3 incomings, you're at 9. Maybe you do an extra sale or 2, but I don't think you can feasibly do more than 11 transactions in the window. And I'll be honest, I never expected that personally. I think other people, Chris, you're a little bit more optimistic than me, and others felt that there would be more of a clear out. But I always warned fans that 11 was the magic number for me personally. I think people that I would have rather sold first over Joe and others, I agree with, I think. But regardless, those transactions, they take time. Whether it's a Mavropanos and people don't like it because they think it's an insignificant one, it's still a deal. It's still a negotiated deal, and these things aren't FIFA. So for me, I was very aware that you wouldn't max out really on 11 transactions. I always felt, I'll hide no kind of mistake about it. I felt we had 150 million pounds and that we would spend roughly a net spend of 50. That was the parameters I was working with in the market. And look, I won't lie. Like when I saw Ben White and the type of deal that we did, it gave me hope that, hey, holy shit, we might be actually blowing this up. We might actually be doing that. And, it just seems like that's not the case. It seems like the parameters I set probably at the beginning of the window are most likely going to be right. I don't think we spend much more than 150 million all in. And I don't think we max out on 11 transactions. But even then, I am still a big believer that you don't need much more than that to change this team. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with me is that it's the availability of deal that's starting to annoy me, because things are so easy to do. Like I know it. Obviously, there is a lot to do, but this can change so quickly with not a lot of funds. It's sad to me because I just think that even if you go bottom, like price wrong, there's so much quality there. As you mentioned before, Boubacar Kamara, you've got Hosamawa, you've got the likes of, I don't know, even Coop Miners wouldn't be much, and he'd probably be a good backup, even though he's not the ideal profile. But there is a lot of different options, even on the lower end of the budget. It doesn't make sense that we're not doing these things as soon as possible. So I just feel like it's time to just, we need to go now. It needs to happen. Things need to happen. If I see Odegaard on a permanent, then I start to worry. If it's a loan, we're in the game. We're cool. We're chilling. No worries. And I'm hoping it's loan with option, not loan with obligation. If it's loan with option, then boys, we're in.
That's something we all probably wanted before the window even started. A lot of saying that was what we wanted. And loan with option does give us some wiggle room in the sense that we could still do so much other rather than committing to spending that 30 or 40 million. So loan option would be a good negotiation. But even if we wanted Odegaard, I wish it happened sooner, man. I wish we just set out a plan and were more like decisive. Because now this random switch to Odegaard, it seems we've been indecisive and changed our plans. So someone up there in the hierarchy has changed something. Someone's like disagreed or something or wanted something new. So they're gonna have to become more decisive and more together in their decisions. Because this late in the window, I don't think we should have really changed our mind when the Madison deal is still available. It could still happen. You never know. But if we do sign Odegaard, we did change our mind. And I think it's weird to do it by the 2 weeks from the window ended.
On that note, I want to.
I don't think it makes
Go on,
sense.
see.
No, sorry, I just wanted to say I just don't think it makes sense. Again, like if we're talking about financially, okay, let's give Arsenal a leeway here. Let's say you had £45 million saved up for an attacking midfielder, and now Maddison's available. He costs you 65, 70 million, and I think around 55 million up front. You're saying you can't afford him? Cool. Then you go in and sell Willock. Now you have no excuse there. You have to go in and bring me James Maddison. Now, the moment you're telling me that, no, we don't want James Maddison, we want Odegaard, he was the number one target. Someone's telling a lie here. Because someone's telling a lie because the whole window, it seemed like Odegaard was already available. Why didn't we go in for him then? So nothing just makes sense to me, which is why I still have a glimmer of hope on James Maddison. And with news coming out today that we're pushing for a loan, because if a player like Odegaard is available on loan, you take him because I'd say
need options.
He has options, and he played last season. You know, he has a familiarity with the players, and you know, like you said, we do need options, and because you never know with injuries, but there's no excuse for to miss out on Maddison. You can clearly tell Leicester are trying to move away from Maddison. So, yeah.
But what scares me about the Odegaard thing, I know we're talking like, loan an option to buy, it's nice to have options, but I look at it from the player's perspective was he wants to leave Real Madrid because he's not guaranteed to start. He's not guaranteed, he wants to be the main man. So if he's coming on a loan with an option to buy, that is with probably the guarantee of talking to the manager. Hey, you're going to be the one starting, mate. You're going to be the one. You're going to be one of the main men. He's not going to, because you got to look at the kid and his profile as well. He's been around for a lot. Like he's only 22 years old. He's been around since he's been about 15. He's been on loan like 4 or 5 times. I think he's tired of that now. He probably does want to settle down, looking for the player, and he wants to be at a team where he can, because he's been hyped up since he's 15, so he probably wants to start living up to this expectation on, hey, I am a great player, I'm going to show that I can be world class. So I just don't see him coming just to be an option.
But when he was here, he became an option, because near to the end of the season we started playing Saka on the left, Pepe on the right, and Smith on the 10, and there were a couple of games when they did it like West Brom, for example. So he will become an option if he's not good enough, or Smith was just better than him at the time. So if he wants to be at a top club like he probably does, he's going to learn either you show up or someone else is going to show up. So if he doesn't want to fight for his place at Real, we shouldn't let him come here to have a guarantee. He should also have to fight for his place here.
I think I'll tie it off with a bow only because I think we could be here forever about the window. But I think the big frustration is really what Z was saying, for me at least, because this is my frustration where if it was about money, cool, but then why don't you get the targets earlier in the window? That internal deadline as a club should have been made a lot sooner. Now, if that's not the case and you still believe that Maddison is your guy, which all roads have pointed to that towards the entirety of the window, because I can assure you an Odegaard doesn't really fit much in a high line, by the way. These tactical changes, it makes even less sense for me to recruit an Odegaard. And so as these tactics are evolving, by the way, I'm not getting glimpses that Mikel is moving to a different system. If anything, I'm getting glimpses that my original system that I keep harping about with everyone is the plan A. I'm actually getting more and more indications that's what he wants to do. And so I just think that the links are not making sense. It's causing anxiety. It's causing anxiety for me. I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, trying to figure out what are the plan B alternatives to this. And it does not make sense to me. It really doesn't, even at an option to buy. And I'm trying to find ways where this would make sense, where a window would be salvaged. And so, like Z said, if it's on loan and truly is a loan, that's quality that you can't really turn down. I get that opinion. It is options, but it cannot be that's it. It's always with the context of what else? What else are you trying to do? Because Odegaard only makes sense if you get an Awar. It does. So that now you have 3 options for 2 positions. That's what it is, right, guys? Like, it does make sense in a squad building sense. I can see it. But why not do this early in the window? If Awar was your plan to do it with Odegaard, I understand maybe he didn't become available to be on loan till later in the window, but why not secure Awar? If that was your overall plan, why not secure the other targets if that was your overall plan? So yeah, look, I know it sounds weird to say, but I am quietly confident of Maddison. Nothing I've seen makes me not believe it. And I've always said to people in Twitter, in group chats, a week from Joe Willock being officially announced, you should see roughly an agreement with James Maddison happening with Arsenal. That's been my idea of the window. And since that got approved on Friday, my timeline's still intact. Personally, I've never seen
my timeline is jokes, man. I don't need to be doing this. Look, okay.
Yeah, before we move on,
Yeah.
do you guys think Odegaard, just quickly, just yes or no, do you think Odegaard happens to Arsenal?
Yes, I think it happens, but loan with option.
Z?
Yeah, probably loan with option, actually. I don't even think it's a loan with option. I've read that it's a loan with first refusal.
Which is even better.
Which again is probably something to do with Real Madrid, where they probably don't even see Carlo Ancelotti as a long-term manager either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with the guys. Loan though, dry loan.
Willow?
Yeah, regrettably, I think he will come on loan. I don't want him anywhere near the club.
I never thought Odegaard would really happen because it seemed just as quick as Ramsdale. It was very weird. But if he happens, we'll all support him here.
Yeah.
So it
looks like it's going to be Oda loan for the rest of the season. So on that note, let's move on to what we're thinking. What we're thinking about the after the Brentford game. Is anyone changing their mind about what they said yet on the predictions for the season? Is anyone changing? Or are we sticking with us? I know I'm sticking with 4.
If one game made me change my mind, then I'll be predicting Man City mid-table, Watford top 4, like all this nonsense. Like one game can't make you completely. Not even just one game, because one game in the middle could do something, but the first game can't make you completely flip the script. Like for me, my predictions are still the same. I think Arsenal will be a top 4 contender, if not in the top 4.
I'm pretty sure also Arsenal lost 3 out of like the 4 seasons they were top 4 from 2010 basically to 2013 on the opening game of the season.
Yep, we lost against Villa, Liverpool.
Yeah,
we lose the first. We never start well.
Yeah,
we always end well.
Even in Unai Emery's first season, we won the first game and then we lost the next 2. So
before that big run. So no, I don't think. I think that's ridiculous. Here, the one thing I will say, and I don't want to go over new ground because we kind of covered it really yesterday on the live, was that structure was awful. That is a red flag. Yes. I will absolutely. It's something I have not seen from a Mikel Arteta team ever. I was very scathing in my review of it. I think the structure just was not there. So if I start to see that again, I will worry. I told people my context is 10 games, 5 of which have to have our starting 11. That is context for me. And that's when I can maybe tell you things have gone off the rail or things are not working dressing room wise. It's never nice to see no structure because your mind does go there. But again, it's one game. So I'll calm. I think Gabriel's back, by the way, for Chelsea. Like, very, very good chance. I won't guarantee it, but medically, I'll just let you know. Very, very good chance he's back. Saka's back. So yeah, we've got some technical leaders coming back.
I'm still hopeful that Partey comes back for Chelsea. It's definitely City, but it could be Chelsea.
Mhm.
But if it does, then it does
If all three
increase.
come back, I really will watch that game to see a structure, because
Yeah.
as George said, it was hard to watch the Brentford game because there was no really place to pinpoint what went wrong. Everything just went wrong, and there was no like one pinpoint thing. Oh, this guy kept coming out of his position or stuff like that. Overall, it was just really weird against Brentford, and it signaled to something very negative happening to Arsenal. But if we go against Chelsea and we do a great structure and win the game, I'm sure the narrative on the timeline will change. But I just need to see like an effort to really execute a game plan, which is something that we didn't see against Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, Willow and Z, I want to get your thoughts on what if anything's changed for you, if that's changed anything for you before we do move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I'm still as optimistic as ever, and just purely because I know we're going to get three or four more players in, so I'm not really worried about that. But I think everybody else, maybe I think I must have been wrong on Brentford. I put them to go straight. So I think that's probably the only one that might change. But other than that, no, not at all.
Yeah, I was never sleeping on Brentford. They are a Moneyball team. They are statistics. They've got it down to a T on what they do. But talking about am I worried? Are my predictions changed? I just think after one game, yeah, you can't judge it. As CK said, you got to judge on City to come, 13th place. Like, I want to see how we react in the Chelsea game. That's a big thing I do want to see. I want to see how we react, because what I did see in that game, though, was worrying. It was really, really bad. As George said, there's no structure whatsoever, and it looked frantic. It looked like maybe something happened in the dressing room because everyone just didn't know what they were doing. Like, I don't know what happened. Everyone just lost their head. So I'm looking for a reaction against Chelsea, because, we've done well against them recently. We've done really well against him. Like, Mikel Arteta, that's one thing you can say about him, is he's done well against top six sides, and Chelsea being one of the pinnacles of that is, we've beat them, the last 3 times we played them now. We've beat them twice in the league last year. We've done the double over them, and then we beat them in the FA Cup final as well. So, I'm really hoping that we can actually get some points back, because if you go and get 3 points there, like, it's chilled again. Like, everyone's a bit calmer.
Yeah.
And we need to get that boat not rocking. We need to get that boat as steady as possible, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
All right. Z?
You already asked me, mate.
I know, but you got anything else to add on? Because we've all been talking for a while, mate.
No, I'm all good. I'm all good.
All right.
Let me add something quickly, actually.
Yeah, go on.
I think Brentford will be a good team to watch this season, because they really commit. Like, if anything, like their corner tactics are some of the craziest I've ever seen. Like, they put 10 men right around the box and put the goalkeeper on the halfway line. So I think Brentford will be a good team to watch, and I think the way they play bodes well for doing well in the Premier League. I think if they add some sort of quality, which I'm not sure they will, but if they do, I think they will surprise.
I don't even think they need to. They'll finish comfortably mid-table. I mean, I had them 11th for a reason. I do think they'll be a force this season. They'll be good players, man. Yeah. As I've said before, I think they're a really admirable club. I really do like how they play and the culture around their club. But we're not here to talk Brentford. Let's talk this wonderful club of ours. So, what about the break? What about the best signing this year? Who do we think is the best signing? And if you can include players that haven't signed yet.
Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll do Arsenal, because I think best signing in general is another discussion. But
because it's Arsenal predictions. So I think.
Look, I hate to be a boring answer, but I find it hard to speculate, because at this moment in time, I literally don't know what the plan is. I couldn't even speculate. Like, if you're telling me George Madison's coming, he's going to be the breakout star, and I don't know if that's going to be, different from anybody on the panel. But if it's anybody below, then you start to get into this guessing game of Plan B targets, and that could be a host of players. So, look, for me, I'm going to say I think Ben White, absolutely. I think over the course of a season, I stuck with my prediction. I maintain it. I think at the end of the season, Ben White will more than justify his price tag and will outperform Varane. So, yeah, I stick with that. And I think he just had such an uncharacteristically bad game. I mean, you even just had to go far as the week before against Spurs when it was miles apart. Like every player on that team sheet had a little bit of a Space Jam moment, really, didn't they? In terms of structure, in terms of play, traditional stuff that they don't do. So look, Ben White's massive signing, so I think he'll probably be the best signing. Also, value for money, which people might be surprised to hear given Lukonga's rise and whatnot. But I just genuinely think, as exciting as he is on the ball, I think he's got some big positional things to work out, and that's not a problem. It's not a knock, but I do think that the price gap will show itself. I think Ben White is less likely to need specific coaching to show his talent.
Yeah, I mean, I also would go Ben White. I mean, I think that it will be. I think he's going to be that ball progressor that we do need, and I do think it's one of the most, if not the most important signing we needed to make this summer. I do think there will be a competition between him and Maddison if he does come. I mean, Odegaard obviously could show his quality as well, but I'd have a hard time looking past Ben White. I mean, it could be No, wait, he's going to Roma. Sorry, it's going to be probably someone like I don't think we're getting a striker, and so it will probably be Maddison or Ben White. I think Ben White is still my call.
I think.
Who wants to go next?
Nicholas Jova for me will be a good signing. I think we.
There we go. There's the CKL. I know.
I think offensive set pieces.
Always thinking.
You know what the worst thing that has happened to Arsenal right now? We've got Chris and freaking Curran on jokes right now. That's the worst thing that's happened.
That was not a joke at all. I'm not here making these weird jokes like Curran. I honestly think Nicholas Jova could blow off Arsenal. I think it's hard to look past Ben White because it's a drastic improvement on the rest of the centre backs in his position. So if not him, then Lukonga's another good signing. I think Tavares will see the pitch much less than them two. So I think Ben White is the obvious answer.
Yeah, I like all of our signings, to be honest, but I think rather goalkeeper, if we get one in, if we like whoever it is, because I think that will massively improve us and change our team. But also, I really like Lukonga signing. I don't just like him in general. I like what it means. Like I like what we're doing. It was smart business for me. You're getting a 21-year-old captain of a club of Anderlecht, Champions League football, who it has bags of quality. I know he's got some downfalls, but I think that they can be worked on, and I just think it shows like the future for us. I'm hoping like more smart buys where we can really improve from it, where you're getting some really good quality players that you can improve, and they're either going to get it into your team or you can be able to sell them for profit, which then you can use for marquee signings.
I mean, so I'm hearing Lukonga, I'm hearing Ben White. Aziz, do you have something a different opinion?
I think we all know what centre back like Ben White will provide to us, and we know what we were missing in midfield in terms of athleticism with Lukonga. But I just do think that we've been short of a good goalkeeper for a long time. So I think any goalkeeper that comes in that can do the bare minimum and make a pass accurately will be the signing of our season, because he will transform the team. I think that's really important. It's the next big signing for us, and I'm hoping we make the right move, honestly.
So, all right. I mean, so we've talked about the signing. Let's talk about breakout star. Is there a young star breaking out? Who's going to break out this season?
Smith Rowe.
Miguel Aziz. That's who I think. Definitely.
Miguel Aziz.
Yeah, I feel like, especially if we don't address that central midfield position and bring it in depth, I feel like Arteta will probably use him and I think we will see him in the Carabao Cup, especially. So it will probably be his breakout season this year.
I would say Smith Rowe, but if I can't say Smith Rowe, I think I'm going to say Balogun, because I think, especially after the first game, I think his rep on Twitter really, in general, in the fan base, really declined or decreased a bit. And I think he really hasn't shown how good he really is. And I really think he's ready to play for Arsenal right now. So I think Balogun will show his worth. And if not Balogun, I want to say Emil, but I think last season was really his breakout. But yeah,
it's a tough one. I was going to say breakout's a weird one, right? Because I think for me, Emil is the breakout star for the Premier League, actually. Like, that's kind of legit. I think he announces himself to other people. I think Arsenal fans know how good he is. It's going to be a very much a case of Bukayo Saka prior to England, where people are going to be like, why the hell is he in the squad? And we're like, he deserves to be there. He's been carrying this team. I think we're going to say very similar with Emil Smith-Rowe. But, like Chris, I'll go for another unconventional one. Everyone knows my favorite talent in the academy, Keto Taylor-Hart. The kid signed a new contract. In terms of cameos, I see him getting a cameo in the Carabao Cup. And I see him really taking a leadership role.
Versus West Brom.
Sorry?
Do you think he'll be versus West Brom?
I would, 100%, especially because I see Reece Nelson going on loan by the end of the window, which will open a space for him to come in on the bench option. And look, I think Z, you agree, but he's the most physically developed for me, in the academy, bar maybe Miguel Aziz, but even then.
I think Brooks close.
He could be close, but, Keto's proven it way more than any of the other kids, and he is physically, bigger. So it's just the kid's like 6'1" or 6 foot. He looks there, ready. Whenever you see him, decision making, it's just immense. Look, this kid's going to go to the very top. I'm glad to have put my pony in Keto Taylor-Hart, so I think he's going to be the breakout player of the season for us. He's going to get some cameos, and he'll have a Saka-esque projection for me.
Willow, before I go,
to be honest, I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say Balogun. The obvious one. I just think, I think Aziz goes out on loan this season. I think Keto Taylor-Hart, I think he'll only play a couple games, maybe a couple cup. I mean, if he does really well, maybe he gets a few more. But I only think he'll probably only play like 2 to 3 games. So I think Balogun's going to get a good opportunity this season with our kind of striker situation, and I think he will take his opportunities.
Right, so for me, I mean, as much as I'd love to say Callum Chambers, it's not going to be Callum Chambers. It's going to be, I'll probably say, let's have a think. Balogun's a good shout. I think Aziz is a good shout. I do think Lokonga. I think Lokonga is someone that's going to take our midfield by storm. I see you nodding, CK. It's a good take. It's I think Lokonga is going to be someone who's going to establish himself, leadership through not only technical ability but also attitude on the pitch. You can see that he's someone that is wanting to get on the ball, wanting to distribute the ball. I really do think that he has a great future, and that half turn from that Ben White pass that people are tossing about. Oh, I like that. Oh, that looked nice. That was silky. So I will say Lokonga. On that note, I want to before we continue the podcast, I want to say thank you to everyone for reaching 500 subscribers on Ball of a Passion on the YouTube. It's been a mental idea. What we wanted was to hopefully get to 500 before the end of the window. And if you smashed that, and you guys have been part of that, which has been great. So thank you, everyone. And let's keep it going. And as I say, keep it going. Let's move on to who do we think will be our young player and player of the season. I'm going to put these two together. I'll go CK first.
Young player and player of the season, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the same person, wouldn't it?
Well, I think the same person's win. That's why I put them together. But if you guys want to have different players.
Emil wins both. I think even the first game, he was ahead of everybody in our team. I think Emil will really announce himself this season the same way Saka really announced himself last year and puts himself into the conversations of the best player in his position, let alone the best player of his age group. I think Emil has a point to prove to the rest of the league and really his numbers will inflate, especially with the signings that are being touted. He'll play in a different position where he'll probably get more goals. So I think Emil will definitely be, just to keep it short, Emil will be our young player and player of the season, and Saka close second.
All right, so I'm gonna go Z next.
I think. I don't know. I just don't want to go with the most obvious choices for some reason. But I probably will have to go for Saka. I just feel like he's gonna just push on from his Euros performance, and I think he has a lot to prove to everyone, including the ones that are blaming him for Euros England being knocked out. So that's that. But I don't know. I can't put my finger on a second one. Can you guys help me?
I think Tierney will be up there.
Partey.
Partey, yeah. And I just think another signing really may change this conversation. But yeah, I think Saka is our best player at the moment, so he's obviously up there. And Tierney creates a lot of our chances, so them two will definitely be up there. But yeah, George?
No, so look, I love Emil, and I kind of said this. Chris likes to choose those young players, but I don't know if I'll choose them for player of the season necessarily. I think I agree with the idea that they announce themselves to the league. I like all that stuff, but I do think Partey is our player of the season. The way he was playing in preseason was just absolutely immense. And I do think with Lukunga, look, it's a rare injury. People want to sit there and highlight it, but he was looking a menace in preseason. And by the way, the time that he's taken off doesn't, speak to any long-term consequences. And I think with Lukunga, we're able to ease him in when he's ready. So I think this guy is going to have a monster season, and he's going to announce that he was absolutely a world-class player, as if there's any doubts. But some people on Twitter seem to forget how good this guy is. He gets into every single team in the world: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, City, United. This guy is immense, and I think we haven't really seen it yet. So I actually do think that he gets player of the season. And young player of the season, I'll go with Emil. I don't think I've seen enough refinement, by the way, in Martinelli to truly explode. I think we all love the kid. But I won't lie, in Brentford, I saw a lot of the same things that are very tough to coach out. What do I mean by that? He puts his head down when he's running. He's really tough to kind of stop. And this is why I want him as a striker. It's very much a striker mold to do this. He runs in straight lines. He puts his head down. He hasn't necessarily mastered putting his head up and varying the passing. So for me, it just screams striker, so I won't hammer him too much. But I still think he has a couple little bit more of refinement to do before he truly explodes. And Emil's just been next level. There's a certain maturity that he's been playing this preseason too, by the way, where he's starting to just take ownership of it. Even in Brentford, he wasn't having the narrative of the game. It was maddening. I could just see, and this kid took it, said, nah, I'm not doing that. Second half turn, went in on goal, 4 or 5 people attract to him. That's superstar quality. And I really think he's going to be up there challenging with Grealish for most fouls in the league. And if I'm to win my bet with Z, he's got to be young player of the season. Back those numbers that I've been backing.
If we win our bet with Z, don't forget I'm in this.
Look, I'm happy to lose that bet, honestly. If it means it benefits Arsenal, I'm happy.
Exactly.
I'm 5.2 on service score. 5.2 on service score.
Exactly. But if that's to happen, right, then Emil will have to, as the bet says, I think he gets 15 goal and assists in the Premier League this season. And I think in order to do that, that's young player of the season quality, isn't it? Yeah. But I do think player of the season will be Partey. I don't think he'll do the same output, but his impact, everyone will see that he will drag this partnership up. By the way, a Xhaka Partey partnership and pivot last season was rarely outplayed. And I don't necessarily think that's due to the brilliance of Granit Xhaka, who, I've defended in the past, but what Partey does, guys, I don't think people realize. People see some clips of Sambi and his half turn, which is nice. It is sexy, but
nothing like Partey's.
It's nothing like Partey's control of that space. And I really think we miss 2 players. He's very Conte-esque in his impact about what he does for our team. where it's like missing two players for us in a team void of any transition player at all. It really is frustrating to see him out. But yeah, just to end this little love affair, Emile Smith-Rowe, young player of the season, Partey player of the season for me.
Willow, before I give mine.
Yeah, George has kind of covered it. Mine's been Partey all the time. Like since pre-season, he's been a monster in pre-season. Absolutely incredible, and he's our only world-class player at the moment. He's our only.
I disagree with that.
You disagree?
Yeah.
With what? What you think we've got more?
I think
world-class
Tierney
players?
and Saka are as well.
I wouldn't go as far as say they're world class. Yeah, like I think
really
they've got
do.
world class potential, but I wouldn't say they're world class. Well, Thomas Partey, for me, is world class. So he's a monster, and he changes it. The transitional play, he helps so much on that pitch. The presence that Thomas Partey is, it gets you out of so many bad
Partey for player
situations. Yeah, Partey for player of the season, and then young player of the season. Yeah, I'll go Saka.
I mean, I do tend to agree with George and Will. I do think we're going to party hard this season, but I think both the young player and the young player of the season is Emile Smith-Rowe for me. Emile Smith-Rowe is definitely the player of the season. I just think Partey. I love Thomas Partey. I love what he does. I think Emile will be more consistent this season. I think where he's just starting to take that role as the man in that team, and he's starting to realize that he's someone that will can push for a place in that plane that is going to Qatar next year. So I think this is his year. I think he goes for player of the season. I think he goes for young player of the season. I think he gets both those awards. I think Thomas has a great season. They're gone.
The reason why I put Emile over that Partey and Tierney is because player of the season is a fan vote, and numbers get the fans.
No. Your player of the season, not who's going to win the award.
No. It will. No, it is who's going to. Anyways, Partey and Tierney are great players and will have great seasons. I think, and will have a big
I think they do. I think so too.
I think that Emile's numbers will really make the fans acclimatise to him seriously, and win him the award over the likes of Partey.
I just think he'll be our most influential player this season, and that's just how I think it will go. I hope that we're going to see a 30-game season from Thomas this year. I hope we're going to see a 30-game season from Kieran this year. I really hope they see both. I think we'll see at least a 30-game season from Emile this year. I think he's going to be one of the mainstays in that team, and he's really going to have to be someone 30? Who's going to 30, at least 30 games in the season. 3-0.
I'm sitting here thinking that you're looking at output of 30 goals and assists.
No, 30 games.
Process that.
Come on.
Now who's joking, George? Jesus.
That's what I had to go look for it. I loved it, but I don't know about that.
No. 30 games. I think. I hope. Imagine if Kieran, Partey, and Emile all hit 30 GA this season. That'd be an interesting.
Without being in
it. But no, I think I would say 30 games. I think will be the benchmark of what I would consider a full season for these guys, because obviously you have rotation and little niggles, and obviously Thomas has obviously picked up an injury already, so it can't be a 38-game season. But I think Emile will be that guy that will have to carry the creative load. It depends obviously on signings as well. If we get Maddison, it obviously might mean that we have more. We share the load a bit more.
If we get Maddison, I think my shot for Emile even increases, because he'll have to score more.
Well, yeah, because he'll be shunted out to left wing where he can focus on that goal and assist out contribution. I think right now he's doing two jobs of setting the tempo and trying to goal and assist. Maddison will take that. So, yeah, I think when you're on the wing, you're much more likely to be contributed in final third play. Madison will decide a lot of the tempo.
That's true. I mean, Maddison will stay central, and it will allow Emile to make those bursting runs into the box, going from the left half space into the box. So it will increase his output as well. So maybe I can see it, but I would obviously all these are dependent on transfers and how things play out. But on that note, I want to leave with any final thoughts about what we're seeing so far, what we're going to do before the end of this window, or how the season's going to go. If anyone has any final thoughts, let me know now.
I encourage patience. I think we're all right now. We're in a funk. I mean, it sucks talking about things right now, and I don't want to make any big conclusions. The one thing I want to say is I just encourage fans to stop this stupid projection that we're done, that nothing can happen, nothing can get us out of a mess. I really don't agree with that loser mentality, and I'll call it that very strongly. It's loser mentality. I get the anxiety and I get the fear, but the idea that you can never improve your position is ridiculous to me. That's not something I accept both in life, nor do I accept in football. And I do firmly believe, even under the most pessimistic of views, there are moves out there in the market that improve us. There are moves there that we can do to improve this team and get out of the hole that we're in. And so for me, I'm ready to kind of see what happens. I'm not predicting anything major, but I'm holding my tongue. I think we do the bare minimum, more than what people think in this moment in time. But let's just see. We're going to have a review kind of in the international break where we'll update our window projections, what we see, so that everybody can be clear about where we see the floor of this team. Because right now, I'll repeat, I see a 6th, and I see very much scope to change, as my prediction said. And I think we do get the window to do that. So let's see. Hold on. Hang in there. And I'm looking forward to Chelsea. Just please, Mikel, match up, and look forward to our match preview on how I think we can beat Chelsea.
Yeah. Final thoughts. For me, it's not even as it really. People found me weird that I'm just chilling now, because it really isn't. That Brentford game really didn't kill me like that. I was just, it is what it is. So like for the rest of the summer and the window, I think everyone just needs to calm down. I get being angry. I know a lot of people that are angry, but I just think I don't think there's any use being angry when it won't solve anything for the window. I say just calm down, and at the end, if they do nothing from now, I'll be angry with you. Not as much, but I'll be angry with you. So I just think you wait until the time's up for this puzzle to be solved. And if we don't solve it, then complain, because the last day of the window, we could sign every single player you want and you'd be happy. So I just think you should wait. And yeah, that's my final thoughts on.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I feel like we should all calm down regardless. The league is coming back to normality. We've seen a lot of things in this game week 1 where you've seen Manchester United performing at home, shock. We've seen Liverpool battering Norwich, shock. Emi Martinez having 2 howlers in 1 game, shock.
So,
Tottenham beating City at home, shock. Third year in a row they beat City at home, by the way.
So yeah, we're seeing normality. I think we should all calm down, and I think obviously the standings probably depend on who we sign and who we don't sign and who leaves. But I don't know. Something just gives me the vibes that we're going to be seeing something that's shocking for Arsenal in the next week or so, and I don't know whether it's a certain player that's leaving.
Positive or negative?
I think it could be both. I think. Obviously, we are going to get players in, so there might be a shock in that, because again, you can't dictate who you're signing the last few weeks, because it could be a surprise. But I just have a feeling that we're going to let one of the Chuckle Brothers go. That's just my big feeling.
Chuckle Brothers.
Before Willow goes, I just think I really like me and Z were talking earlier, and I just really think a goalkeeper is the massive thing right now. I mean, without it, I don't know. We need a goalkeeper.
On the Leno wave. You're off the Leno wave, huh?
No, I was never on the Leno wave. I really think we need, bro. If anyone who saw my fans view piece, I ripped Leno a new one. Okay, so I really think we need a goalkeeper to tip this window over the bar at this point. So if we're going to look at what's going on with the rest of this window, if we're going to look at what's going to happen the rest of this window, we've got to make a couple more signings. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bit of a disappointment. So let's just see what happens. So Willow, before we go, Willow, I think it's only fair that you sign off as you've had one of your first podcasts with us. So, what do you think?
Yeah, my first podcast actually being part properly of Ball Over Passion. So it's been it's been very good, and I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm excited for all of this really, and it's a pleasure always to do this with you guys. But really, I just let's see. That's my thing. I'll keep it short and sweet. Let's see what happens. It's
Yeah.
Arsenal. We've got 15 days. It's going to be the end of the window. Things I think are going to start to get a bit busy, and I think there might be some surprises.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone on the panel.
Let me
Thank
answer.
you guys for listening. Oh, go on.
Okay, so I wanted to say, I'd echo what Karen said earlier with a thank you for 500 subs, and please turn on notifications because we will be uploading more with transfers and stuff. I want you to recommend us somebody to bring on for the 500 because we will bring people on to celebrate the 500, but I want you guys to give us somebody to bring on. And the final thing, we will be doing consistent Arsenal predictions week in, week out, and we need you guys to give us a forfeit. So comment under this video.
Wait, hold on. Legal lag in the comments, please.
I'm just going to give you guys. I'm going to give you guys a
We'll go back
suggestion.
to these predictions, okay? And I will say at the end of the window, let's have a window so we can properly do this. But yes, we're going to be keeping points, a little point system that will make sure that you guys are well aware of, so you can follow along our progress of all the guys on the panel. But legal forfeits, please.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to suggest that we have George just chug some maple syrup for a bit, or do something along those lines, because we need to get something person appropriate. You know what I mean? So, please let us know. I think we'll do. I think we'll do a poll at some point as well once we've had some suggestions. So. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's been fun. It's been humorous. Let's hope for many more Arsenal wins, and hope to see you soon. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And this is Karen checking out. See you later, guys.
Peace.